So, I had quite an eventful weekend.
After so many months, I not only got my hands on the new 2025 medal collection, but I also finally got All Engines Go Duck.
They certainly took their time getting to my side of the US. Okay, so, yeah, so these guys have only, recently now reached my side of the US. I live in New Jersey, which is in the north, and yeah, they've only recently made their way into Walmarts. So yeah, I was very close to buying these online. Duck here, he only now started going for a bit cheaper on both eBay and Amazon. I was gonna probably buy him on Amazon if I didn't get him already on Saturday. And I was going to buy these two off of Walmart.com, but thankfully I didn't have to, so yay. I only had to pay $5 for those two and $34.35 for that. So, yeah. Couldn't find Storybook Thomas, but that's to be expected. But, like, regardless of what happens, I ain't paying over 50, 100, 200. I ain't paying that chiz for him on eBay because like I understand why, but I nobody should be paying that much money for a toy that like yeah you can't find easily in stores, but like you know don't be that desperate. I'm sure not going to be that desperate. I'm never going to be that desperate. Kind of. I mean, maybe if it was a take and play duck, I'd buy it, but I'm just kidding. But no, I ain't paying that much for a Storybook Thomas. I'm not that desperate. Like, yeah, hopefully, because I don't know, you really have to get lucky with it in stores. Yeah, I mean, again, I understand why, but like, no, I'm not doing that, and you shouldn't either unless you're filthy rich or you just don't give a damn. So, yeah, but I sure ain't. Anywho, I think it's high time that I get these guys out of their packaging. Now, I was initially going to unbox Duck along with this lot, and this is more likely going to be a poor choice, but I don't care because it's my channel, yada yada yada. I'm just gonna do his video separate and focus on these guys for this video because, I don't know, extra content. I'm stupid, but whatever. First things first, let's get Mr. Blue Balls, aka the best character in the series, out of the packaging. And if you say that the best character in the series is Edward, then you're terribly, terribly wrong. Okay, so I don't really care about the packaging that much to warrant using a knife on this. And like, if I ever want another one, then that won't take long, or that won't be hard to do. So yeah. And bada bing, bada bam. Ain't he a doll? Now lay there. Okay, so right away, the first thing I noticed about this Thomas is that he has a chip on the edge of his tanks. And I looked back on the recording, and that was there before I dropped him. So yeah, I don't know what the heck happened. So that obviously sucks. Now, truth be told, I actually did get two. I don't really want to explain why, though. The reason why I went with unboxing this one is because this one had a couple of small defects of its own. The printing on the number 1 there isn't the best. There's a bit of a white line going underneath it, if you can see it. It's above the red lining. And the paint on the back, it's a bit hard to see on here, but like you'll see better once I unbox this, which I'm gonna do now because this doesn't seem to have any scrape marks. But yeah, why don't I do that first? So now I got the second Thomas out, and yeah, so there's the back. As you can see, there's a bit of a paint bubble there, as well as like
a dent, like someone tried to poke holes through it. I don't know. And also noticed another printing error with his handrails. So, yeah, appears that I got 2 defects. Ain't that great? So, yeah, that sucks. Low key, I might go ahead and buy a 3rd one. I don't know. I mean, I could have spotted like the scratch mark from here. I didn't know how the handrails were gonna look on this one, but yeah. So well, I think I've wasted enough time on these Thomases. Let's unbox this now. Okay, I guess I'll peel from this side. Ah, crap. Wasn't trying to unbox it like that, but whatever. Good thing I have nails for that, and I'm poking holes. Okay, great. I guess I'm not going to be able to preserve this. I don't know. Okay. We got Thomas number 3. We got Percy. We got Larry. Little Jimmy. A gay man. And his ass. And these 2. Alright. Alrighty, here's all the new metal collection lined up. Very nice. So, gonna look through these one by one. I was initially going to compare them to their All-Engines Go counterparts as well as their Take and Play models. Now, I do have a Take and Play 2013 Thomas and James and a Talking Henry out of the packaging. I have a Take and Play Percy, but he's currently in his packaging right now. The same thing goes for another James and Henry that I've gotten recently. Well, not really recently, but, you know. Now, like, I could still do the comparisons, but I don't really feel like it, and I'll give you my opinions on which one I favor over the other by the end. So, yeah, so we're gonna look at this defect Thomas first, or Thomas number 2, to be specific. Yeah. So here's defect, Thomas. Definitely the best looking one out of the range, arguably. Problems with it aside, and defects with my version, or versions aside. But yeah, why don't I get into my positives with this first, then I'll get into my problems with it afterwards. Alright, so first thing I like is the face. Definitely would have preferred if he was looking forward, but still a good Thomas face regardless on its own. Definitely do prefer the one from the Sodor collection pack, but it was good too. I mean, pretty much every Thomas variant is better than the standard release. But yeah, another thing I like is that they actually gave him a molded head and tail lamp. That's something that they've never done, and like, I feel like it's something that they really should have, just because it's kind of like a staple to Thomas's design. I mean, okay, well, in terms of headlamps, they never really given headlamps on the diecast trains. I mean, like, when it comes to giving headlamps on the diecast trains, they really only did it for characters that have like lamps above their faces. So like Toby, Nia, um, Timothy, or like, they don't give them molded headlamps like this. Like, if it's something simple like Toby or Rebecca back there, who just has a painted dot. My camera can focus. There we go. So, something like that. They don't usually do headlamps like they do for the Trackmaster models or motorized. But I'm glad that they did. When it comes to tail lamps, they sometimes did it. Like, Take Along did it a few times, like with Billy, for example. But, it was sporadic. That's all I'll say. Every blue moon, they'll give someone a tail lamp, but that doesn't really matter. But I'm glad that they gave it for Thomas. Wish they did it for Percy, but whatever. Also like that they gave him, well, not necessarily a molded whistle, because his whistle was always molded, but they made a separate piece this time around. So I learned that from Ages Ago Thomas from back there. Yeah. Nice ribbon handrail detailings. Well, at least on this side. Handrails on this side is corrupted. Yeah, but, looks nice. Even though they're still not using the Series 23 Authorus for reference when designing these, but that's whatever. Oh, God, I'm being passive-aggressive, aren't I? But, yeah. Side rods look nice on all these. I mean, yeah, they do look a bit weird from the front perspective. This is more like a Timothy design with how, like, the side rods stick out. But our reviews, they look good. Now the different wheel designs for these new metal collection toys, I don't mind them. They look nice, but I do still prefer the wheel designs that we had from 2013 till I guess 20, because yeah, that was the last time they used that. I mean, they still use it for minis, but like in terms of diecast trains, that was the last year in which they used that kind of wheel design. Those were my favorite for some reason, the pin axle wheels. And well, these are still pin axle wheels. I guess they're more realistic looking, but I still prefer what we had before. But these look nice regardless. There's the bottom, by the way. Yeah, so, those are my pluses for Thomas. As for negatives, well, my problems with my Thomas aside, that's not funny. Yeah, so, it didn't paint his buffers in the back, for some reason, but that's not my biggest problem. My biggest problem with, Metal Collection Thomas is the fact that his cab, as well as his tanks at the front, are sloped for some reason, and the same problem goes for Percy's cab. I don't know why. I don't know why they're sloped. One might say it's a leftover from All Engines Go, but like, I mean, yeah, All Engines Go had sloped designs, but like not in the way how it was for Thomas and Percy here, because well. Yeah, just look at them. So yeah, I don't know why they're slow, but yeah, that kind of irks me. The dome is a bit chunky. I understand why it would probably look weirder if it was thin, but it's just kind of chunky. Feel like they could have given him his water tank since they did it for his motorized model. Shoot. Yeah, that's more of a nitpick, though. What else? There's not much wrong with Thomas, really, in comparison to the others. I know people have had a problem with how his wheels are pushed back here. I don't really care all that much. Like, sure, I would have liked it better if they were a bit more centered, but that's honestly kind of more of a whatever for me. But yeah, overall, Thomas is really good. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about him. I'll give more reviews on him and the rest later once I'm finished reviewing everyone. So, yeah, gonna put defect over there, and we'll look to, dang it, camera blurred. This other guy. So here's the Thomas variant that came in the Sodor Adventures pack. Has a driver or workman with a very thick booty painting his lining there. That may be a reference to The Adventure Begins. I know some people are trying to convince themselves that this is like some kind of, I don't know, preview to the new 2026 series or project, whatever the heck it's going to be. But they're crazy. Okay, I'm guessing this is supposed to be the Adventure Begins reference. I don't know. But yeah, so not much different with this one in comparison to the standard one. I mean, for one thing, it's kind of hard to see on film because the lighting in my room is terrible. But the printing used for this Thomas is different. I mean, of course, besides the dude painting his lining. But yeah, it's different compared to the other one. The face is also different. Definitely like this a lot more. I like the open mouth that he has. So yeah, now, there's not much else. Well, yeah, that's pretty much the only differences between that and the other Thomas. Now, unfortunately, this Thomas is also a defect, but not in terms of, like, paint quality. Well, sort of. Let me just zoom in. So, I don't know if you can see. Zoom in. See. Alright, so something must have happened when they were coating like the gloss or printing. I don't know what goes on when manufacturing these things, but like something happened because there's a piece of hair on Thomas's paintwork and a couple of other stuff which I don't know if you can see. Okay, I tried moving him to a bare spot, but basically on top of that little hair string on his boiler, there's a couple of like dirt or whatever it is on top of his tanks there, and I can't remove it. They're just like stuck to the paintwork. So yeah, so that means that each of my Thomases have been a defect. Yep. Moving forward from that incredibly frustrating fumble up, here's Percy. He's very nice, too. You know, when you have him in the right hands, it's hard to mess up Percy. Yeah, so, let's talk about his face first. Alright, now the mold is good. It's clearly CGI Percy. But yeah, they made the eyebrows and pupils a little too big. Now, I will say this, he looks cute. He looks very cute, okay? But that's kind of the problem. The pupils aren't supposed to be that big, so yeah, they just made them a tad bigger than they should be. I don't mind too much. They look worse on his CGI prototype render. But yeah, I just needed to make them and his eyebrows a little bit smaller and the face would be perfect. So yeah. Yeah, so shape overall is really nice. There's the bottom. At least he has painted buffers at the back. So, yeah, I also like the gold that they used for his whistle and dome here. And I say that because, like, when it comes to metallic details, like, be it the coupling rods, these are more of a gray this time around instead of, like, the silver that they've done before with, like, other plastic details. But, like, look at Thomas's whistles here. These are, like, the kind of gold that they use for plastic is more of a dull gold, but here it's a lot more metallic-like, if that makes any sense. Like, it clearly isn't a metallic finish, but I don't know, it's just a lot shinier for some reason. And the same thing goes for James. He doesn't have the same gold as Percy's either, but it's still shinier in comparison to Thomas. So that's interesting. I'm not sure why that is, but I like it. Alright, so Now, as a whole, Percy's actually pretty good. But now I'm gonna talk about my problems with him. Like with Thomas, his cab and bunker is sloped for whatever reason. I don't know why. Um, Minor nitpick. Well, actually, I understand why. I don't. Okay, so he doesn't have his cylinders. I know why. It's because of the coupling rods being in the way where they would be. I understand. So I'm not going to really deduct a point because of that. Would have liked them to have been there, but that's not too much of a biggie. And yeah, the big pupils and eyebrows are a bit of an issue, but not too much. Um, Missing his water tank or water cap on the top of his boiler. I can't remember if his motorized model has it or not. Someone will tell me. I'll know if I look at another picture, but yeah, same deal with Thomas. I don't know why though. For whatever reason, his number 6 is a different font. So yeah, not sure. Well, actually, I saw someone on Twitter the other week speculate that the reason why Percy's number looks this way is because they were using reference images of Audrey's Percy model from the Great Little Railway Show. Now, his number isn't there in the final episode, but it's there in those rendering orthos when they were working on the production for that episode. So, yeah, and looking at the image, it does look very much like this, so I guess it's possible. It's still weird why they would use reference from, like, that or Thorough, considering that his number 6 is correct on his motorized model. I don't know why, but yeah, inconsistency. Another thing I don't like is the fact that the rear of his bunker isn't painted. Now, the weird thing about Percy's bunker is that, like, sometimes his bunker is painted, like, let me rephrase. Sometimes, the cab and bunker are one piece, like how it is here, and other times they'll do this section here as a one piece, and then they'll make the bunker area completely separate as a plastic piece. And I definitely prefer that route because at least then the bunker can be fully painted black because, well, it's a separate piece. But yeah, I don't see why they couldn't do this as they did it with, and it's the same problem with the new motorized Percy as well. I don't see why they couldn't have made it a separate piece like they did before with his other diecast models, as well as the motorized All Engines Go Percy. I would have said his original metal collection All Engines Go Percy toy, but they actually forgot to add the black part of his bunker there. So yeah. But, like, they made those separate plastic pieces, so I wish they had done the same thing for Percy's models this year, because it just leaves the back bare, and that sucks. But, yeah, what are you gonna do? But besides that, Percy's pretty good. He's a little bean. He's cute. I like him. Yeah. Okay, put baby there. Excuse me? And now on to... I wanted to improvise some kind of stupid nickname, but whatever. It's James. James is probably the most interesting to look at visually. First off, he's long. Like, really long. He's longer than Henry. Let me show you. Get them lined up a bit better. Yeah. He's longer than Henry. And he's also longer than his All Engines Go counterpart, which I'm going to be comparing him to in a bit for reasons that you'll soon find out. Okay, so, first off, positives. The face is good. I don't really like how his eyebrows are angled, but it's fine. I'm not really that bothered by the faces. I prefer them to look, how they were before, with them just being the standard expressions, but this is fine still. It doesn't have painted teeth, though, if he was meant to be. Yeah, he was. Yeah, now, I actually do like how long he is. That's really cool. So yeah, he's got good detail. His buffers are actually painted at the back, which, is a good thing. Kind of surprising, though. There's his bottom. Yeah. His whistle is actually painted. That's the first time since... Well, it actually hasn't been too long, because, like, the thing is with Diecast James and whistles is that, like, you first had the molded whistle with the 2013 James, which was painted. Then afterwards, they got rid of the whistle, and that spot was just left blank. Then, when it came to the 2019 Push Long Range, they gave him his whistle back, but it was just a painted line that time. Then with All Engines Go here, they gave him a molded whistle piece again, but it was unpainted. I had to paint that. And it's back again, and it's painted once more. So, that's nice. And like I said before, I also like the gold that they use for his dome. So, yeah. Now, James is kind of a mess, though. He looks great, but he has a lot of things going for him. Alright, first off, I guess I'll talk about the minor things. Alright, so, in between his, smoke box frames, that's what these things are called, it just has this big black box thing in between. I don't know why they couldn't get rid of that. It's weird, because, like, didn't have that with his All Engines Go push along, and yet his motorized toy did, I believe. Yeah, it did. His motorized toys did have that black box thing there for some reason. And then coming here to the new Metal Collection and motorized James, the new motorized James doesn't have this thing between the smoke box frames, but this one does. So, yeah, that's weird. His wheels are gray, again, unfortunately. People say, ooh, take-along reference. No, they've been doing this since All Engines Go, James, for some reason, and same thing goes for both of their motorized models as well. I don't know why. I'm honestly not that big of a fan of Gray Wheel James, especially since, like, when it comes to, like, I don't know how manufacturing these toys goes about, but, like, the kind of plastic that they use for gray wheels like this, you can see the visible creases and lines in them more so than with any other color like blue or green, for instance, and that's why I don't like them very much. But yeah, he also has gold side rods for some reason. I mean, some have said that might be because of this James promo. Some have also said that might be so his wheel or his coupling rods don't blend in with his wheels, since they both be the same dark gray color. They could have just made them black, his wheels. Yeah, very weird. I don't like the way how they went about painting his handrail, because this part is supposed to extend onto his firebox there, and it doesn't for some reason. Yeah. And now, oh yeah, I also don't like his short stack. Could have made it a bit taller. It doesn't look right when Thomas has a bigger funnel than James. But I guess that's something else you can make fun of him for. But yeah, so my biggest problem with this James is, God dang it, forget it, is the reused tender mold. So, yeah, James reuses his tender from his All Engines Go model. Let me take this apart. And it's not just that, too. He reuses his cab as well, and I'm going to get into that in a bit as well. I gotta stop saying the same things. But yeah, so So yeah, he reuses his Origins Go tender, and the only difference is that, well, they repainted it to look more like the original series with the lining in number 5. And yeah, this one is also a defect. Paint is messed up on there, but I probably don't feel like replacing James more than I did with Thomas. It shows you who my favorite is. But yeah, so that sucks with my version. But for all James's, yeah, this doesn't look right. Now, I know the reason why they reuse Origins Go James's tender for this, and it's because of the fact that Origins Go James ambiguously doesn't have front buffers on his tender as well as at the back, even though that's accurate to their Origins Go designs. They're supposed to have buffers at the back and front, but for some reason they didn't add them to his push-along model, which is accurate to his original series counterpart. So that's more than likely the reason why they went ahead and reused this for the new Metal Collection James. And another thing that's reused from his Origins Go James model is the cab. Now, once again, it's repainted to look more like the originals. Well, okay, alright, now, looked at these. Now, they both had that sloped cab, like Thomas and Percy do, as you can see. Now, they actually did go ahead and modify his cab a bit, though, to be a bit more accurate. So, as you can see with Origins Go James, it slopes, like, outward there. And it's completely straight here with original James. And another thing that they went ahead and changed is the whistle shape. So they were able to go ahead and modify his cab to look a bit more accurate to the original series. I mean, it's still strange how they kept that slope in. And yet, for some reason, they couldn't do the same thing with his tender. I mean, why? I just don't, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with the extended running board on this thing. I have no idea. That probably was it. But they also went ahead and changed the whistles too. So, like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I'm being, yeah, I sound pissed right now. I'm not that upset, but it is really bothersome. I guess in some people's eyes that's just another way of saying I'm pissed, but like, I don't know, it's stupid. I don't know why. Okay, well, actually, I kind of do know why, but yeah, it's just, once again, inconsistency with these new models. So, yeah, now, besides that, James is actually really good. I do like his size. Now, yeah, he is probably a bit too long and a bit too big, especially since they also made Henry, and he's shorter than James, and shorter people would be like, oh, well, that's accurate to their CGI models. James is huge. Okay, yeah, he's this big next to Thomas and Percy, but, like, okay, he is taller than Gordon, and yeah, he is taller than Henry, but not by this much. He and Henry's CGI models are actually about the same size, not counting James's penis. He only has like a few millimeters cab height in comparison to Henry, but yeah, it doesn't look this bad. Trust me, guys. But yeah, that's it for James there. Now, on to the hippie train. So, Henry's definitely the least good, I'll say, out of, well, I guess, the main 4 engines that don't reuse their 2019 toolings. Like, he's mostly alright. He's kind of good, at least in my eyes, but yeah, he definitely has the most flaws out of everyone. I guess I'll start with the engine first. Alright, the face is good, the mold at least. the eyebrows. Excuse me, that's the third time I burped. I'm sorry. All right, his eyebrows are a bit weird. I'm pretty sure these are based off of his post series. No, not post series. Like, he gained these eyebrows in series 6 actually, or Thomas and Magic Railroad, same thing. But yeah, the problem is that the top of his eyebrows towards the front don't curve inwards, so they look off. But yeah, it's okay, but I definitely would have preferred if the eyebrows were just, you know, more standard Henry, whatever. So yeah, he's got nice detail. Gave him rivets, even though he doesn't. I mean, they do this regardless. It's not like they're based off of any renders. These are just exclusives to the toys. But yeah, nothing in the back. There's his tender. I know people have complained about the tender because it looks, well, they say it's too short, or not necessarily that it's, well, I guess too short or that it sits too low. I'm not frankly bothered by it, and I feel like some people forget the fact that, like, the reason why Henry's tender doesn't have this running board anymore that the diecast trains have been giving towards the tender engines for, well, since Take Along, but like Henry's tender never had a running board to begin with. He had it in All Engines Go, but not here. And well, the same thing goes for James. Well, that's All Engines Go tender, but like the same thing goes for James as well. He's not supposed to have that running board. Well, okay, well James actually does have a tender running board, but his is more tucked underneath the tender itself. Henry doesn't have that. He doesn't have like a running board for his tender. So this is actually really accurate. The reason why it looks off, well, it's not necessarily because it sits too low, but it's because of how short the chassis is. If they made it a bit taller, like around up to here, it'd look fine. But of course, they ain't gonna do that because of how these are pieced together. So that's why it looks weird. And I guess another thing is the fact that they didn't give him a buffer beam. So it's just the buffers there molded on the back of his tender. And they're unpainted too. That one kind of makes a bit more sense. So yeah. Now the basic shape is alright. Oh, there's the bottom too. Now, as for my cons with this, well, I already talked about his eyebrows not looking right because of how they shape them. So, for some reason, they didn't give him his half splasher there, or I don't know what the hell it's called. Some people call this a splasher, or that the splasher. I'm confused at this point. I think these are supposed to be the splashers. These, something else. I don't think there's... I don't know. I can't remember locomotive terminology, but he doesn't have the half splasher that he's supposed to have. Yeah, I'm guessing it had something to do with them not being able to, like, find a way to cut it in. I don't know. I really don't know. His cab roof, dang it. His cab roof is also a separate piece, so it's thicker than the others. I don't have a problem with that. Like, okay, they did it with the All Engines Go Metal Collection too. And, well, at least there they were consistent. And I'm not bothered by this, but, like, since none of the other trains have that, Henry does stand out in that regard for, well, the wrong reasons. So, yeah. And I definitely do feel like they could have made him just slightly longer because, like, how do they make James this long and not Henry? Like, it's confusing. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't have expected an extra leading wheel regardless, so I don't really care about that. But yeah, Henry's definitely too small. I mean, the thing is that if they made him taller, they would definitely have to stretch his, like, boiler and face, and that might result in either them giving Henry a more prominent smokebox saddle, or them stretching his boiler and face to the point where it becomes an oval, and yeah, that wouldn't look right. And they obviously weren't going to make his chassis any taller, or his running board any thicker. I don't know. Yeah, so I think that's it I have to say for old Green Boy. Now, on to the women. So here are Annabelle and Clarice. I guess I'll look at Annie first. So, this is my first diecast Annie and Clarabel in a long time. My last Annie and Clarabel was the take-alongs. I technically still have them. They're in the area. They're just stored away in the shed outside my house, like a ton of my other trains, or really just junk in general. But yeah, so, yeah, they're, so of course, these are reused from their 2019 models, just with different printing. Alright, well, guess I'll get on with the positives. Their faces look good. They definitely went for, like, a more model series approach with, like, the, like, brown kind of lipstick that they have. So, I'm guessing it's supposed to be based off of their model series designs, because of course they still utilize the CGI faces, they got the CGI eyelashes and all that stuff, but you know, this stuff was exclusive to the model series, so a combination of both. And also gave both of them painted buffers, strangely enough, but you know, plus counts. And I also like that the painted passengers inside. That's cute. It's really nice. Oh, yo! Oh, snap! Yo! Whoa! Did they actually paint a guy smoking a pipe? Never thought you'd see that in a modern Thomas toy. That's sick! Oh, I hope that's a pipe. Oh, man. What the hell is that dude carrying? Is that like an axe? Or is that thing protruding out of his chest? That's not funny. It's not funny. Oh. But yeah, I like that. So they got nice painted details. Now the molds themselves, yeah, they're atrocious. Yeah, these are hideous. The problem is that, like, not necessarily that they're too wide, but they're too short. Well, actually, yeah, it is kind of a Yeah, they're both too short, and, like, their windows are squashed into the point that makes their faces come off as smaller than they should be. So, yeah, that's definitely where the main problem comes in. Excuse me. Now I saw someone use the original Trackmaster Revolution Annie and Clarabel with the 2025 Metal Collections, and they actually scale really nicely with Thomas there, even better than these two, because the Trackmaster Revolution Annie and Clarabel were terrible because of how short they were, but they actually scale really nicely with the new Metal Collections. I don't own a Trackmaster Revolution Annie and Clarabel. I do have the 2020 motorized Annie and Clarabel, but obviously they're not going to scale well with them. So yeah, Annie's roof is a bit loose, I think. Clarabel's isn't, but yeah, yeah, they have rivets too. So Annie and Clarabel, honestly, yeah, they're not the best because they reused the 2019 retooling, but I do appreciate the paint details they have. Yeah, I really didn't get... Well, the only 2019 or original push-along Metal Collection before Auctions Go toy that I got was Rebecca, and she was pretty terrible as well. Not customized her. It looks terrible as well. I said that twice. That's terrible. Stop saying terrible. Jeez. Alright. But yeah, that was the only 2019 model I got. I I guess until now, in fact, hang on. See how they look like when coupled up next to Rebecca. Well, they definitely scale better with her than they do with these guys. Well, I checked. Thomas is about the same size as Rebecca, but of course, James just towers over her. Henry, yeah, him too. It's bad. Alright, so Annie and Clarabel are pretty alright. And so that's going to conclude my review on the 2025 Metal Collection Diecasts. Overall, on their own, I think these are great. They're solid toys. In comparison to their 2019 push-alongs, do I even need to say it? They're definitely better. Comparing them to their Origins Go Metal Collection, I don't know if that's really a fair comparison, as the Origins Go diecasts are their own thing. If there's one thing that I do have to give the Origins Go diecast over these, is that they're much more consistent with one another. And that's definitely this line's biggest flaw. And yeah, I'm sure enough people have talked about it already, but I just want to give my 2 cents still. The biggest problem, like 2019 retoolings aside, so, push Annie and Clarabel at the back, the biggest problem with Thomas, James, Henry, and Percy in this new line is that they don't feel like they were made by the same person. They feel like they were made by individual people, because they're just well, you get what I mean. Like, you have James, who was too big and too long in comparison to someone like Henry, who was too short. Thomas, James, and Percy have sloped cabs, while Henry doesn't. Henry has a separately applied cab roof, unlike the other engines. James reuses his Origins Go's tender and has gold coupling rods. Percy's pupils are too big. And yeah, there's probably other things I could point out, but I don't want to be here all day. But you should get what I mean. They're just very inconsistent. Now, comparing these to previous diecast redesigns, like, I already told you how I felt about them in comparison to the 2019 push-alongs and Origins Go, but, like, if I were to compare them to something like 2013, like the 2013 Take and Play line, which, in my opinion, was the best that the diecast lines have ever looked post Ertl, even though Ertl isn't that great, but they look kind of good in their later years, but that's besides the point. Like, from Take Along till now, I think that 2013 Take and Play was the best that the diecast trains have ever looked. Now, in comparison to these, how do I feel? Well, I mean, I kind of already implied it. Yeah, I still think that the 2013 Take and Plays are still the best that the diecast trains have ever looked. Now, they both have pros and cons in their own right. One might be more detailed than the other. But I think the best thing about the 2013 Take and Plays is that they combine the best of both worlds. Like, they still use the designs, basic designs that begun during the take-along range. And they have the accurate CGI faces. And, you have, during that time, you also had models like James and Henry, who were also made to be a bit more accurate, not just with the faces. But with James, he got molded lamp irons and a molded whistle, and Henry got a more accurate running board, as well as molded lamp irons too, and accurate smokebox frames. So, little things like that made them stand out a bit more. And sure, while those, aspects to their diecast designs would kind of stay going forward, it wouldn't look as good because of the, squash proportions going forward. So that's really why I think 2013 peaked with diecast trains. So yeah, sure, this Thomas here has a more accurate running board in comparison to the Take and Play Thomas, as well as having smokebox frames and separately applied whistles. But I still think that Thomas looks better because, for one thing, it feels just a bit more accurately proportioned. And yeah, while it might be slightly more simplistic in comparison, I think it just maybe not necessarily resembles the character a bit more, but I just think it does a better job at being like a good diecast Thomas toy. Not saying that this is bad, this is great. But, of course, this is my opinion that I'm talking about here. If you feel differently, that's completely fine. Some people have said that this is their favorite looking diecast Thomas, or Erdle, or, Take Along. That's completely fine. I don't care, which diecast look for any of these characters you prefer. But if you want to know, 2013 is my favorite look for the characters. But I think these, or I guess maybe really Thomas come at like a close second. I don't know. I don't know how I'd line them up. I guess 2013 Thomas would go in first. Then maybe this in second. I don't know. I mean, yeah, probably. But I guess that's a video for another time. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts. That's how I favor them in comparison. But I think that's all. I've been talking for a long time. I'm sorry. But I think that's all I have to say for this review. So, yeah, like I said, these are really good toys, and I recommend you picking them up. Well, yeah, I know they're not going to be at, some people's Walmarts as of right now. I mean, not too expensive on eBay. If you want to go ahead with that, maybe. I don't know, or just continue to wait. Just don't buy Storybook Thomas on eBay, please. For the love of God, do not spend over $100 on a $4 piece of metal. Good God. But yeah. I don't know what else to say. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I guess I might see you next time with this. I might wait a while on unboxing Duck, just because I have other videos planned for next November. Well, no, not next November. Next week for Thanksgiving week or Black Friday week. Or they land on the same week. But yeah, so bada bing, bada bam, yada yada yada, adee. That's all, folks. 67 is a stupid meme, and stop using it. Okay, blah.